Morning everyone, Rick here from Healing Field Farm. Thought I'd give you kind of a tour of the outside of our tiny house and the fields that we plan on putting a farm on. Not quite a farm yet. So right behind me we've already got some hog panels. We're going to use that to set up our pasture once the snow goes. I do have about 2 feet. It is a blistery 15 degrees outside right now. We started with -1 degree this morning, so it has warmed up quite a bit. A little bit breezy here today. So we have about 2.5 acres of field and about 1.25 acre of wood, which you can see behind me here, where our property line starts and turns into wood. So most of it is open. It is all lush looking grass in the spring and summer. However, it is more weed than grass. A few years back they redid the road out in front of our property, and I guess from what we've been told they stripped the topsoil off of this property. So we'll be working on improving the soil quality, using the animals, using the pigs and the goats and the chickens. So our plan is to build 16 by 16 foot pens, and we're going to have the pigs in one and the goats in another, and then we'll have a chicken tractor to move around. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the goats in one area to clean up the grass, and then rotate them, move the pigs in and let them burrow and fertilize, and then we'll put the chickens in behind them to scratch and spread everything out. So that will greatly improve the soil quality over the next year or two. So walking more this way, you can see here behind me, my son and I had set this pen up. This was actually where we were going to put the garden, and after a few good storms we've decided to change the plans. So I'm still going to leave this up. I am thinking I'm just going to fence around it and use it more as an area for the goats and chickens, kind of like a home base when they're not in the pen working on the field for us. So we are going to put up a greenhouse, and that was part of our change of plans. Is we wanted to have the greenhouse close to the garden because it made sense, and putting it up here in this area, well, that's the highest part of our property, and we get wind in here like 30, 40, 50 mile an hour gusts, and it can really blow around. So we've decided to put the garden down on the lower part of the property, and we're going to put the greenhouse kind of tucked away into the trees a little bit, which will help block the wind, because we don't need to be chasing a greenhouse across a 2.5 acre field. So this is the back of our house behind us. Right here next to these little bushes, there used to be an old barn. This used to be pasture for cows and horses many years ago, and there's an old barn here, and it just started decaying, and the fire department came in and did a controlled burn and burned it down, and they did leave quite a mess. There's a bunch of shingles and old metal and stuff like that. We found some cool stuff like some old barn door hangers and horseshoes and stuff like that, but we cleaned out a lot of it. We're going to turn that area into basically a little flower garden, back up here a little bit. So we are going to put in a small pond, maybe like a 15 by 15 foot area, and right in this area in between these trees we're going to dig this out a little more, and then we're going to run a gutter off our house and an underground water line to help fill up the pond, and then we'll have another water source for ducks and such like that. So move down to the lower field. Oh, it is quite blustery today. this area where these pallets are, a few of them blew over. Again, the wind can get pretty strong out here. That is going to be our compost bin area throughout the year. We get lots of wildlife out here. We got deer everywhere, wild turkeys. We've seen like 3 bald eagles fly overhead. We get a lot of hawks in the summer, so we'll have to definitely make sure that we do what we need to protect the animals from them. Right here behind me, where these green posts are, we had a small garden here in the summer of last year. Just some cucumbers, tomatoes, and green beans mostly. What we did though in the fall, we planted in some garlic, so we should be pulling that up in late spring, early summer. So down here where I'm standing now, there used to be like a kind of tote road right through the field, and we're gonna put the greenhouse right here on the edge of these trees, and then we own this part of woods here too, and that will help block the wind and everything from tearing the greenhouse down. And then we're just going to run this lower part of the field will be all our garden. So it's kind of a weird setup. We do have like a right-of-way through our property, and we split the road with the neighbor. So our neighbor lives in a tiny house on a trailer or a though, and it's pretty cool. He did a really neat job. So we own this part that's right in front of these trees. We're going to plant sunflowers all up in there, and then we'll probably move the pigs and goats into the wooded area here and work on cleaning that up as well. So it is a nice long driveway, and our original plan was to build a store out here, like a little farmer's market type store, sell goat soap and milk and vegetables. We are going to put in some fruit trees, so we'll sell apples and stuff like that as well. So you can see this is the neighbor's tiny house behind me, and then this road here, it forks. There's 2 properties behind us, and there's a butcher shop back there, which is great because he's a really nice guy, and we can bring all our animals there if we don't do it ourselves. We'll probably do the chickens ourselves, but a lot of work to do pigs, a lot easier to bring it there and let them handle it. So our plan is right in this area to put a farm stand for starters, because we do plan on having a big garden, but 3 people can only eat so much. So we're going to plan that accordingly, and then we should have a good crop once we get the animals in here tilling stuff up. We may put in raised beds this year just to help with production. So, sorry about all the cars, but we are close to the road. So this hill right here behind me is where they put in the gray water system. And we did the gray water for a couple reasons. So we wanted to leave a minimal impact on the field itself, and we wanted to still be able to use the land, and we also have a limited water supply at the moment, and your toilet is your most wasteful water fixture in your house. Each flush can be 4 or 5 gallons at least. That's a lot of water, especially if you're on limited water capacity. So we can't build anything on this spot, like a structure, but we can plant fruit trees, Christmas trees, flowers, and that such. So it's just water, dishwater, shower water that goes down there, and all septic approved. Very simple, basically just some piping that runs from under our house about 3 feet down, and it just goes, and then they built up the hill a little bit, so for that. So this is more of a panoramic kind of view of the property. And there's my ugly shed that I got to get siding on, but we threw it together so that we could get some stuff stored. So that is pretty much it. It is cold today, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Once this snow melts, we'll get a lot done a lot quicker, and right now it just kind of looks like a winter wasteland, but once all this snow melts and the grass comes up, it is just gorgeous, and we can't wait to share it with you. So please, if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and please follow us, leave any comments that you wish, and thank you. I'll talk soon.